Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. You know how important this work is for the city of Baltimore and building public safety. It really takes all of us and all these around us to know that everyone doesn't exist in real case. And so the group part sure that everyone at systems level and operations. But in that vein, I just start off by sharing a few updates around public safety priorities since we last met. No, our already has been expanded to the central district. Our sites set firmly advance into the eastern district next month. Remain committed to addressing all the issues around legal guns, community, both responsible for who free, but also trying to attack locally. Well, I'm sure all of you know the extensive settlement with the large ghost gun for about 80 that includes payment of damages and prohibits for continue to operate not just in Baltimore, big points for our city and really for our state. Us all very well. Typically, we also, of course, have a heavy suit terms of the ATF for the release of data that will yield us the information that will allow for the local level to see where guns are coming from and tailor our responses to help them hold the legal guns. It's really about Congress and Key hardening them prohibit should be able it's illegal as we continue to focus and deal with nationwide issues. Auto thefts with saying how our say thank you. Or I don't know how, but do it again. But in addition to focusing, thank CPD for their actions, deal with this nationwide issue. Auto thefts across the city of Baltimore really do their part, making the rest. Also, that they gloves and crackers and doing the work that needs to be done. Also, want to share on a concern that we've talked about for a long time around the issues that, of course, we've been working with similar trade. So it's just that legislation has to go through this year, go down by people with Will Smith out that legislation that, of course, we all know died by last year. Now, they assured me that that piece of legislation will go forward for things and look at further changes for that. We know for those it is very rapid, but happens so that ultimately safe and alive, rehabilitate and wait trial, but also that would for other folks the 48-hour patient the guy of time. Before I move, I'll see if it's question before I right before we move on. I still here alongside government administration for on very productive conversations with our judges. Really, but solve problems and still get the system that allow us to take our city, talk with them and look forward to hear more information about that soon, including each of Ultimately, we're here solely in the interest of take this coordination specifically around practice at the system level to ensure every one of our work. We know what can be done. Coordination infrastructure in place, for example, DBRS balance reviews that include many of you have allowed us to simultaneously build cases and focus on resources so got violence in our communities. This is the kind of work that strengthens, replicate elsewhere throughout the system. We know when we work together, when we put our game.
Mayor Scott, we're having some difficulty. It sounds like you're pretty far away and there's some breaking up. So we're just trying to see if we can adjust your audio some.
No, it's not.
There you go.
There's no way else for me to. There's no way else for me to adjust my audio.
We can hear you.
I don't like WebEx.
Clearer now. Is that better for folks?
Yeah, I was going to say, Ariel, can you just have people give hands or whatever it is on in the WebEx just to give a sense of whether people were hearing that clearly enough or not?
I couldn't hear anything the mayor was saying. Somebody may want to repeat it.
Bob, I can send it directly to you. I can hear you all fine.
We can hear you better now.
Can hear you now.
Yeah, it's much better now. If you could recap, I think people missed a lot of that.
Yeah, I'll just run back through run back through it. For the next time, everybody, we will not be using WebEx. I'll just let everyone know that first. Essentially, what I just said was thanking everybody for their participation. We know how important this work is, and how important the coordination is, and central to have everyone as true partners in the work. But I also talked about, I shared a few updates for us. We know everyone on this call knows that GVRS has been expanded to the Central District, and we're focused now on moving to the Eastern in April. I talked about our continued focus on guns and illegal guns. Our suit with Ghost Gun Company Parliament 80 that essentially stops all of their operations in not just in Baltimore, the state of Maryland. Our other suit that we have that is focused on the T. Harton Amendment that prohibits ATF from sharing information with local governments that, quite frankly, we should have, since they have the information based on the actions of local government and the women and men of our law enforcement. But also talked about BPD's continued work in making and focusing on things like auto arrest, but also doing things outside of the enforcement with we call them clubs, but also the geo trackers, and we're going to continue that work as we work with our partners in the state to fix other issues and concerns that we all have there, and then also share the update about the home monitoring piece of legislation that we had last year that failed on the last day, and we have been assured by Chairman Smith and others in the Senate that we won't have that issue this year, that we're going to get that piece of legislation passed, and of course it includes not just updating those timelines, but also a working group to further study it, because quite frankly, we shouldn't have people dying or committing crimes with ankle bracelets on in 2024 and then not being able to be immediate action. But I did also say that I wanted to thank our partners in the Governor's Administration, and particularly Dorothy at CJCC, because I've had some really productive conversations with our judges recently, particularly about having all of us come to the table as partners to do the work that we're doing. And I look forward to sharing more updates about that very soon, and including you all and your offices in the next steps, because we know when we work together, we can accomplish great things. GVRS is a perfect example of that. Our violence reviews that include many of you allow us to build cases when necessary and focus on resources to individuals who are in those groups that have been driving the violence, and we want to replicate that kind of partnership elsewhere. But I wanted to see if anybody had any questions for me, and then if not, I'll move on to the work groups. All right, Ariel, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Mayor Scott. So I will fast forward. We're just gonna, this is a review of the agenda for today. And so Mayor Scott has covered his priorities for us. I'm gonna just do roll call real quickly just to make sure that we have folks on the line. We have noted the principal members who are present. And then we will cover work group updates and then have open forum for other principal members to share anything they would like to share. And then we'll go ahead and close out. So can I have the principal members who are on the call just come off mute and say your name and your agency so that we know you are here and I can make note of that.
I'll start. Rich Worley, BPD.
You?
Hi, this is Marguerite Renault from the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Catherine Flynn from the State's Attorney's Office.
Thank you.
Angelina Carino from Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services. Jennifer Haslam, City Council President's Office.
Jim Molnar from the United States Attorney's Office.
Thank you.
Good morning, Walter Nally, Division of Parole and Probation.
Thank you. Is that everyone?
Good morning. This is Dorothy Lenig with GoCap.
You?
This is Stephanie Nevronis with Muncie.
You? Okay. Now we will fast forward to work group updates. So for those of you who are new, we do have 6 work groups currently. I'll go through the first one, which is domestic violence. So currently the group is analyzing risk assessments, including offender-based risk assessments, child welfare risk assessments, and hospital risk assessments to determine trends and how they are utilized for intervention. They are also exploring youth intervention strategies for adolescent offenders. They've been working with religious leaders to also try to identify and address domestic violence and see how that religious organizations can get involved in supporting that. And then lastly, their efforts are continuing to identify reliable data sources to measure IPV and establish a differentiated process for high-risk case reviews in real time. The pilot launch anticipated with Northern Police District lab cases is set for August 2024. Next, we have the warrants work group. So each agency has provided some input on a development of the warrants prioritization system. It'll be a data-driven priority score, which will show warrants that are most important to serve in Baltimore City. The prioritization system will focus on individuals with histories of violence who have the highest likelihood of reoffending. We do still need some input from the sheriff's office here, as they have their own warrants that they share. Right now, we've only been operating off of information from BPD. So this is an ongoing request currently. Are there any questions about these before I move to the next work groups? Okay.
Yes, sorry about that. I have one.
Okay.
Just have we communicated with the sheriff's office what kind of input we're looking for them and maybe giving them a timeline for when we need it?
We have communicated with them for at least the last several months or so. So I think we can touch base again, but we have made some reach outs and just have not received some information there.
Okay,
Okay, so-
well, thank you. Yeah, I can just reach out directly to
Okay.
them.
Yeah, I can too, sir, if you want. I'll call Sam. One question for me for BPD, because the captain that was handling that, Alicia White, has been moved. Did they transition that to the other captain, or is
She's still on, but Donna,
she can handle it if she wants?
sorry, someone else was.
Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
cut you off.
Donna Price is jumping into co-chairs, and as I understand it, she does work directly in warrants. But is there someone else you would like to put in place in addition to Donna Price?
I'll check with Alicia, Captain White, and Donna. Donna's good for it, and I'll see if the new captain will take over the role, or if Donna is good, because she does a lot of the same stuff.
Okay. The next work group is fines, fees, and restitution. So they provided some recommendations last year. And so from those recommendations, there was a request that we try to get more involved with state level agencies on fines, fees, and restitution. So there is some work being explored on how we can collaborate there. There was a meeting a few months back with the governor's office in DJS on what that could look like. The interagency data and IT work group, they've continued to meet on a monthly basis and try to remove some barriers around just communication for data sharing and systems. So it seems as though that's working well as far as agencies coming to the meeting to make requests if there are things that they need from other agencies. For the pretrial work group, we do need some restructuring there to set some clear priorities and goals. We also need to reestablish a membership. We have had some folks leave their agency, and so we do need to kind of fill in those spaces from those agencies. And then lastly, the community justice work group. This was a newer work group that was established last year. There is a meeting set for this Friday to try and discuss those priorities, goals, and what membership will look like for that group. Are there any questions about the last 4 work groups?
No, that not a question, but a question, but a comment for around trial, Dorothy, for you and I to check in about that. I think this is one where we could use your help as well.
This is really a priority of mine. So yes, I'd be happy to work with you on it.
Thank you, ma'am. And just for fine, fees, and restitution, just what the next steps are for that one. I know that one's a long-term systems kind of change work, but just wanted to see if we had an update where we are with that one.
So no update now on where we are. We are trying to figure out what this collaboration could look like with state agencies. So we did put a new chair in place who initiated the conversations. And so we're just trying to see what that can look like moving forward. But no updates here right now.
Thank you, and Dorothy. I'll follow up on that one as well. Those are all my questions.
Sounds
Thank you.
good.
Does anyone else have questions or comments for these? Okay, I'll stop sharing screen now. The next agenda item we have is just an open forum for the other principal members. So if there are things within your agencies that you'd like to share for the good of the group, this would be the opportunity to do so.
So I know I'm new to this group. I'm gonna see if I can get my video to work. It's very pretty, but
It's not you, Dorothy. It's WebEx. Don't. It ain't. It's not you. Trust me. It looks like we lost her. Yeah, I think we did.
Yes.
Anybody
Okay,
else? Well, still call back in. Ms. Commissioner, do you have anything?
No, sir, I'm good unless they want me to give updates. I saw in the agenda updates for, I guess the stolen autos and some things. I can give updates with those numbers, but the only question I had was the warrant service thing with Alicia, Captain White moving assignments to PIB.
Yes, sir. Thank you. No, I think we're good from you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? I kind of want to wait to see if Dorothy comes back on, since it was, her first time, and I know she might have some important updates for us. We'll give her another minute or two. And there she is. Dorothy, I would just go without the video.
Okay, I'm so sorry. The whole thing, your WebEx kicked me completely out of it. But the state is really starting to focus on the car theft issue. And so I'm looking forward to working with a group of people in the city. I was hoping to coordinate with the mayor's office, the police, and the state's attorney. So I'll be reaching out to folks around that to work with you all on what you're doing around car thefts.
Absolutely, man. We welcome the focus from the state. Thank you, and thank you as always. We're in.
Great. We'll be in touch soon. We just met about it last week, and we want to focus on Baltimore City and Prince George's County. So we'll be in touch soon about it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Well, I will just say thank you, everybody, for your work and continued work in partner. We look forward to furthering that partnership. We'll have some further updates. I told you in our conversations with our friends in the judiciary, and we will see you next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.